Hi guys, this is me, Charles Norman from Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS. Down below this time, I'm going to give you a link to the software like I always do, and I'm going to give you instructions, and you guys can use the software absolutely no cost. Our software will allow you, if you're trying to get an athletic scholarship, it will allow you to put in your academic information, and based on the sport you play, the area you want to play and the level you think you can play at the collegiate level, we're going to show you all the schools that you academically qualify to attend that offer scholarship for that. And we do NCAA Division III. They do not offer athletic scholarships, but we show you those schools and they give you money if you're an athlete to come on. And it's almost like an athletic scholarship. It's just not called that. In this one, we're going to talk about the rule changes for the NCAA starting September 1st, 2023. They're going back to being a little bit more stringent on your requirements for being eligible to play your initial year in college. A lot of that went away from 2020 to 2023 because of the pandemic, and so things were like kind of loosey-goosey there, and you can get away with a lot more. Now, the first takeaway from this, and I'm not going to go and get too detailed on everything, but the first takeaway for me was there is no longer a requirement for the SAT and ACT moving forward, which means you do not have to upload your SAT, ACT scores to the NCAA eligibility centers. That's done with, which could be good or bad. Now, you guys know my opinion if you've been following me. My opinion is the SAT and ACT were a marker, because if you had the scores, it told that school, they have to explain to you, okay, now why did you not accept me into this school? With that going away, especially for the NCAA, but a lot of the colleges are no longer requiring the ACT and SAT, and everybody's celebrating this for some reason. I think the opposite. I know a lot of people were saying before that it wasn't fair, that people that didn't have a lot of money could go take courses to improve at the SAT, ACT, but there were a lot of opportunities to learn how to take the SAT, ACT. But now what you've done is you've given the colleges and even the athletic teams, you've given them an out, because we're not taking those scores into consideration for a lot of schools. Now it's subjective. They can just decide they want this kid versus that kid, and there's nothing you can say about it. It just is what it is now, right? Now, the other thing that's really dangerous about this is the colleges don't say they won't use the SAT, ACT, and some of the colleges still require it. That's the other thing that they mentioned on this webinar that I watched. And this webinar was not for parents, it was for the administrators for high schools. On that webinar, they kept on saying, be very, very careful to make sure that the colleges that you are looking for, that you want to go to, don't still require the ACT, SAT. Now, I know a lot of them are not requiring anymore, but you have to be very sure that they don't require it. Our software will show you the schools that still require the SAT, ACT, and we'll also show you the ones where it is optional. We do that with a color coding, and once you use the software, you'll see how that works. But the danger is the schools that say that they don't require it, the colleges that say they don't require it, they may still use it. And that is where you get in trouble. You don't know if they looked at two kids that both qualify academically, they've done all the coursework, it looks like they're a good student. One went and took the SAT, ACT, one didn't. One got in and the other one didn't, or vice versa, right? But you don't know. So I am going to say, out of my mouth, take the SAT, ACT anyway, at least for right now, until this thing fleshes out a little bit. Because as an athlete, what you want to make sure of, and we always talk about positioning, there's two kids now, they're both athletes, they're both being considered for getting an athletic scholarship. Everything is even with them. They're both great kids. They both athletically belong at the collegiate level, and they can participate. They've got everything that's needed there. One took the SAT, ACT, did pretty good on it. The other one just didn't take it. You don't know if they would have done good or not, but they didn't take it. If I'm the college coach, I'm taking the kid that took the SAT, ACT, and the reason I'm going to take them, all things being equal, is because they went the extra mile. That's a big deal for a lot of people, because it tells you this kid's going to do the extra work in the gym. They're going to make sure they're taking care of their schoolwork. The other kid may do the same thing, but all I have to work on is what I know. And all I know is one took it, did pretty good. The other one didn't take it for whatever reason. Maybe someone told them, don't worry about it anymore, you don't need to take it. Maybe they're not a good test taker, or they didn't get a good score, so they didn't submit that. I don't know what the reason is. And I don't know that this kid over here would not have been just as good of an athlete later on, or a great student and a great addition to my team. I have no idea. All I know is I've got two kids and I had to make a decision. I'm going with the one that went the extra mile. So that's one of the reasons I always recommend you go the extra mile. Don't look for a shortcut, even if the shortcut's there. Sometimes you have to take the shortcut for a variety of reasons. I'm not judging you. I'm just telling you that as you move through life, It's the person who goes that shows up, does the extra whatever it is going on. No one asked them to. They're not doing it for some strategic advantage. It's just who they are. It's going to completely change their life, and they're going to get some opportunities the other person's not going to get because they didn't get up. They didn't go to this event. You didn't need to do it. The coach said, hey, it's optional. We're going to do some running this week. It's optional. It's not required, but if you guys want to get some more work in, you can come. The kid that shows up to that is the kid that's going to play more, that's going to get more opportunities. And it's just a little subtle thing. Yeah, the other kid could be more talented and maybe they get to play more. But as you keep going through life, it starts to add up and add up and add up and add up. And that's just who you are. That's who your personality is. That's how you're going to raise your kids, and they're going to get the same thing. Success is almost 90% showing up. You're going to show up to something and somebody's going to go, hey, we need somebody to do this and you're here, so I'm going to give it to you just because you're in the room. And so those are some of the things that you just have to learn about life, and it takes a little while to get that because it doesn't seem like it does any good. And then some people call you a kiss up, or some people call you names, or you'll go there and you'll get no advantage, and the person that didn't show up looks like, hey, how come they get to get all these advantages? They didn't even show up for XYZ, and it starts to bother you a little bit. But just keep doing it. Just keep doing it, and do it because that's who you are as a human being, and you're going to start noticing things too. So anyway, I don't want to get too far down that road because you guys know if you've been watching me, I'll go down that road far. So that's the first thing to take away for me from that webinar. ACT, SAT no longer required. Second thing, they've made it so that you can now do kind of a recovery. So for NCAA Division I, you have to take the 16 core courses, and you have to have 10 of the 16 completed by your 7th semester of high school, which basically you're before you go into your senior year. You have to have 10 of those core courses, and the core courses are comprised of English, math, science, and social sciences. There's, I think it's 4 years of English, 3 years of math, 2 years of science and social sciences, and then there's some additional courses you have to take during that time too. They're sort of they're aligned with those, but they don't have to be specifically those core courses. Your math has to be Algebra 1 or above to qualify. There's a lot of rules there, and what I'm going to do down below, I'm going to give you guys a link so you can go watch the parent version of that. It hasn't happened yet. When I put this up, I think it's in April 30th, I think is the one for the parents. This one was for the administrators for the school, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, so you have to have all that. But let's say you have the 16 core courses. You got that part right. But your GPA, this is NCAA Division I eligibility, but your GPA is between a 2.0 and a 2.29. You need a 2.3 to actually qualify. So this is really important. So you got a 2.29. You didn't quite hit that 2.3. Well, you can go in the summer after you graduate. You have to graduate with your class. That's another requirement. But you can go back and you can take one of those courses again and get a better grade in it. So I think that's something they did not have before. Now, but you have to have it done before you enroll in college. So you're going to enroll in college sometime in September of 2023. Well, you graduated in June, whatever, you can take one more course. It has to be an approved course, so use your high school to do these things. Talk to your counselor, guys. That's going to be a really important thing. Let your counselor help you out at the high school. They should be able to get you situated. But that was something they didn't allow before. There was no way to recover if you did get there. And then if you didn't get all of that stuff done, but you did get the 16 courses in, you didn't qualify academically, you become a academic redshirt at the Division I level going into college. So you can still get the athletic scholarship. You can practice, but you cannot play until you get all that stuff taken care of. And you guys can look at all the rules there. Now let's talk about NCAA Division II, because they didn't do Division III and this wasn't an NAIA webinar. So Division II. Now I remember pre-COVID at some point, the pandemic, when they changed all the rules, I thought it used to be 14 core courses and you needed a 2.0. Well, I could be wrong, but you guys go back and check that. But now it's still 16 core courses, even for a Division II athlete, and you have to have a 2.2 GPA. Now, where they came up, I don't have any idea why they didn't just go with the 2.3, but I do know NCAA Division I and Division II have different governing bodies, and so does NCAA Division III. So maybe they have whatever they're trying to accomplish here. But the biggest difference in high school is you still have to have the 16 core courses, but that 10-7 rule that you had to have the 10 courses done by your 7th semester, that doesn't hold for NCAA Division II requirements. And so it's a little bit more lenient in that way, and your recovery can be a little bit more robust there. I think you can do up to 3 courses. You can go back and fix yourself to get yourself recovered so that you can play initially at your collegiate level, and you have the timeline for you to get that done is lengthened out too. It just has to be done before you go to college, you enroll in college. So if you were a spring athlete, you could probably go to the end of the year, you know, try to take some extra courses to get yourself eligible to be able to play at the collegiate level, then enroll in the school, in the college, and you're good to go. So there's a little bit more leniency there. I personally think you need to just take care of what you need to take care of as soon as possible. Get it done, get into college, get on the campus. So both of those, there is a recovery period there. You guys, I'm going to give you the link, like I said, go to the parent webinar that's coming up and get a chance. But you can just go online and read about it. It's all on the NCAA eligibility centers. When you sign up for AthleticSOS, we have a link out to the NCAA eligibility center and the NAIA eligibility centers. Go in there and just pay attention to it, and go talk to your school counselor, because that's going to be your biggest help there. And so you can do some recovery, you can do some summer courses, you can do some stuff to get yourself back in line so that you can play. The other takeaway that I got from this, for some reason, it feels to me like they're trying to get more of the kids that may qualify for NCAA Division I, if something goes on, that you can see Division II, NCAA Division II as a great option. It looks like the board for the NCAA Division II want to slide some of those D1 level kids into NCAA Division II level and give them some room so they can come in and play. So I think that's very interesting on how it's moving. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm going to do a little bit more research on this, because this interests me quite a bit. If they're trying to move things around, is the NCAA Division I trying to move people over to D2? Are they trying to get some of the D2, maybe lower level D1 programs to move down to D2? You guys do know that the colleges determine whether or not they want to try to go for D1 accreditation, or that they want to be D2, because to me it makes no sense academically. They should be dead even for high school, the requirements. I know NCAA Division II, Division III, NAIA schools that are way more robust academically than some of the D1 schools, and so why would you even have that difference? And why is the qualifications for the NCAA to play at the different levels, why would that be any different? It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're trying to get more kids into the D2 level, or you're trying to, if you're NCAA Division I, you're trying to make sure more kids can qualify to play, and you don't get a bunch of arguments from parents. You could just say, hey, listen, they didn't qualify here, they can qualify over there, because I'm sure they were getting some complaints about kids missing out, some things that were missing. And then the other big takeaway I got from this was, I was very surprised on how many administrators at high schools don't know the rules, that don't understand what it's going to take for their kids to qualify to participate at the collegiate level, that they don't have the right courses, that they don't have the courses in the right thing. Like, you can take these extra courses, business classes, speech they showed, there was some stuff for entrepreneurialism, there were some other classes you can take. If you put them in the right category, they can qualify for some of those core courses. But a lot of the administrators, the counselors that were in on the call weren't aware of this, and so that's very dangerous. You want to make sure that your administrators at the college know what's going on, right? So that's going to make a big deal. Okay, so that's what's going on. Like I said, down below, I'm going to go ahead and put that information in. You guys, make sure you go and watch that webinar for them. We're going to be doing some cool stuff inside of AthleticSOS. I'm adding some really nice stuff. I'm going to open up a store. It's going to offer some services. I got some people for baseball, softball. I got some people for, remember the pillars thing I was telling you guys about, for the vision, the cognitive, the metacognitive, and the oxygen, and how that's going to help you guys stand out when you guys go to these showcases and these viewing tournaments and these combines and stuff. How do you separate yourself from everybody else that's going? All those kids have the skills to go and play at the collegiate level. How do you set yourself apart so that the college coaches go, hey, that kid's got it. What is it? We're going to show you guys how to do that. All this stuff's coming up. I'm really excited about us moving forward, and we're rewriting the software to take in this change in the academic requirements to qualify. So we're going to take that. We're still going to leave some of the stuff in there, but I'm going to make it a little bit different so you guys can understand what's going on there. So a whole bunch of new stuff. Please sign up for AthleticSOS. I really appreciate you guys now trusting me. You guys are signing up like crazy. We put 1,000 people into the system since November. That is unheard of for us, trust me. And so we're just going to keep on going. We're going to keep growing. We're getting people contacting us now to offer partnerships, and we're working together with a lot of really cool people, and I'm being very particular about who we work with, and I'm sure they are too. I'm not saying it's a one-way thing, but I'm going to be bringing you some really cool stuff. All right, you guys, the park is getting busy now. The sun's out here where we are in Southern California, and we got a bunch of kids with their dogs out here, and everybody's screaming and hollering. So I'm going to cut this one short. Look down below. I'm going to give you the link so you can go and watch that. I think it's April 30th. They're going to do the parent version of the NCAA eligibility requirements. You guys are going to want to go watch that webinar, and I'm going to give you the code and the instructions for using AthleticSOS at absolutely no cost. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors, and keep moving forward. We'll talk to you later. Bye.